So looking at this UI, we know that we arrived at three different endpoints. The first endpoint is going to be the endpoint that is going to display all the items, the image, the description, the price and all. And then there will be a backing endpoint which will not be exposed using the front end, which is basically creating the item. Post item endpoint, get item endpoint for the list of items, post item for creating an item, and then finally whenever you add something to your cart and place the order, we want to create an order in the backend, so we're going to create a post order endpoint. So going back to Stackery, I'm going to start from the scratch really quick. Add a resource. We're going to have an API. It's going to be a REST API, and I'm going to name the API as Food Truck API, and then it's going to have three endpoints. The first one is going to be a post item endpoint for creating an item, and then we'll be having a get item endpoint for getting a list of items, and then creating a order endpoint for creating an order from the front end. Enable cards, ideally I can have this star pointing to the domain where I'm going to host the UI application. This is basically the AWS Amplify, but I'm just going to leave it a star for now because that's not the scope of the item. And then we're going to save it, and we have the YAML getting generated in the backend. Let's go ahead and create the remaining Lambda. I'm going to go with the individual Lambda functions for all three different items. Flows, create item, and this will be the logical ID. That will be the function name. I'm going to have it as index.handler, whatever it is. No other, just accepting the defaults, saving it. I'm going to do the same thing for the remaining two. Get items, and then the function is going to be get item, folder name will be, and it's going to have the default over here same, and then finally create order, and then the function, the source path will be create order, taking the defaults and saving it. The remaining two things are the tables. DynamoDB table, we're going to have first one is going to be the items table, and the primary key will be the item ID because it's hash key. We don't have any sort key here. And then we are going to have the second table named as orders table, and it will be order ID of string type, and I'm saving it. Now let us wire together. So when a post order endpoint is called, we'll be calling the create order method, and it will be storing the value in the orders table. And then when get item endpoint is called, it will be calling the get items function, and it will be storing the value in the items table. Finally, when you want to create an item, use the post endpoint to create item. The item will be saved in the items table. And now I'm going to save this whole repository into the Git. I have already chosen GitHub as my repository. Authenticate a Stackery to create a repository over there. Okay, I have a name. I need to rename this. Rename to Sam Food Truck Endpoints. Update it and save it to GitHub again. And saving it. If I now go back to the revision, you can see the repository has been created in my GitHub repo. And let me go ahead unpack this using my local Git, and let us explore the directories whatever has been created for us by Stack. I have imported this repository into my local Git, and it is up and ready. I have opened that in my Visual Studio, Visual Code editor, and we can see what has been created for us by Stackery. And this is the template YAML. What you see here is Swagger 2.0 way of, you just copy this whole thing and put it in Swagger hub and start to define API over there. It will still work, just that it is following OpenAPI spec 2.0 compared to the 3.0 latest. But this is the template YAML. You don't need to understand any of this thing right now. But what we saw there, right here, all these drags and drops we did in within a minute resulted in this whole code base. And now if you just go ahead and do SAM validate, which is equivalent to verify whether my YAML file is all right, it will just go ahead and do it. Let us try to push this into our into my AWS thing. So SAM build, and then this will build the application, and then finally we can use the SAM deploy guided. Let us use the SAM deploy guided. So it'll ask you a bunch of questions. SAM food app prime default region stack tag name. So the tag name is going to be prod, environment is going to be prod, API gateway stage name is going to be prod, and yes, I'm confirming everything. Yes, I'm allowing SAM CLI to create roles. Yes, this is fine. Get items may not have authorized. This is okay. Yes. Create order. Yeah, bunch of yeses. And now the deployment is starting. It's asking me permission to move this change set to my AWS account, and I'm going to give yes. And the account creation is starting right now. Now we see that it is all created. I will just take you to the AWS account and show you what are all the components that has been created by this SAM. The right place to look how it has been created is the CloudFormation, because as I said before, SAM is a extension of CloudFormation, and this is the name what we gave, SAM Food App Prime. And if you go ahead, you can see that the resources that have been created, we have this physical ID, we have the API gateway getting created, and we have these Lambda functions that got created, the role, the create order Lambda function, and then the get items Lambda function, and then what else? Yeah, so this is the Lambda function what we created, and it doesn't have any body. So whatever you see here in the code editor is what you see there. We are going to give life to this soon, and the API gateway now has an endpoint named SAM Food Truck API with prod. If you go to stages, we actually have stage and prod endpoints getting created, and you can actually hit the endpoints and get some blank results now. But let us start giving life to these endpoints by developing one endpoint at a time, starting with posting the endpoint. So we can also see the other resources like DynamoDB tables. So if you go back here, we also have these two tables getting created, which are the DynamoDB table, the items table. Do not worry about the name. What you see here, this is by default the name has been given. So this table is called the items table, and this is called the orders table. We just need to take this name and use it in our code so that the insertion happens correctly. We can also retrieve that using the outputs. So for example, if you go back to the stack, see the outputs here, you can actually define the outputs using the stackery, I guess, to get what are all the actual names of the table that got created. But for now, we can use this name. You can navigate to your console and get these names. You can retrieve those things and start using that in your code. Now let us go ahead and give the life to the create item endpoint. Let's do that first. I want to show you how we can arrive at the sample message for creating an item. So this is a wonderful site I use for generating test data, but you can use it here. So we are going to give the job of creating the items ID to DynamoDB or the Lambda function. But looking at the UI, we need to have an image URL, an item name, and a price. These are the three items what a sample record should look like. So now let's go ahead and say that what is the item name, and then what is the item price, and what is the item image URL. I'm going to use a public image hosting site to pull the URL from, but we can Okay, let us see image URL. So the item name can be, let us, for now, it's just a sample data I'm going to show you here. So let us say a company name. The item price will be a number. So number, this is a number. Minimum number is 2, maximum number is 5. Decimal we can allow 2, and there are no blanks. And then item image URL, we're gonna choose URL, dummy image URL, and yeah, we don't need to have any other values. And if we go ahead and choose JSON and go ahead and preview, this is a sample message we are trying to create for a item. Let us go ahead and just keep it in one of my Sublime Text. Let us go ahead and dummy via this create item method. It's not going to be async call, it's going to be a callback based. So let us add a callback here, and we're going to return the callback. We're going to assume a success message here and a sample message here. We will define the sample message here. So sample message, since the API gateway call, we need to have certain entity properties here. Status code is going to be 201 for creating a resource, and then we're going to have the body, and the body is going to be let us define the body here. The body is going to have something called as a message, and the message is going to be the item with an ID was created. For this one, I'm going to replace that with, so we have the event. So if you go ahead and you use the SAM local generate event API, we're going to have this for API gateway, and it's going to be for API AWS proxy. So this will give you a sample message how it will look like when the Lambda function gets. So Lambda function will always expect an event, and since we are invoking this function using an API gateway, we can call the SAM local generate event API gateway AWS proxy, which will give you a sample event which this Lambda will be receiving. And to choose the unique ID for the event, it is a very good practice to choose the request context request ID. So it is a part of the event object. So we can just choose event dot request context dot request ID, which will make sure that it is unique in your world of AWS. And then this is the sample message we will be returning. And let us go ahead and SAM build this and SAM deploy this. Now that everything is moved, let us go to my AWS console and go to the stages, go to prod, go to the post item endpoint, copy the item endpoint, and then open Postman, create a new tab, choose post, paste it, and if you call it, the item with an ID 45587. So how many ever times you call it, it will give you a new ID, a unique ID. So this is behaving like a get call. We are not actually expecting anything back from a post, but still a message is given. We are supposed to send a body which will have the item name, item price, and image URL. We're going to do that, wire it with DynamoDB and show how it is done. Now we have a working framework for the get item all wired up through Lambda and API gateway. Now we're going to go ahead and implement the DynamoDB part of it. Let's achieve this in an iterative way. So what we have here is we need the table name in which we are going to insert. We need the Dynamo API to insert, and we need to return the value. So the table name can be derived from the template YAML. So what you have here is the create item template, the resource template what we have here, whatever was created for us using Stackery. And if you look into the environment, it says that it is making a variable name table underscore name available to us, and it is referring to something called as items. So items is nothing but the actual DynamoDB table that is getting created. So if you search for items, it must be the name of DynamoDB table. Yeah. So it is referring to this items. That's the reason why it is referring to. Please refer this table when I mean table name. So if you want that table name to be available for you in the Lambda function, all you need to do is copy the variable and use this. Table name is process.n.table name. That's all you need. And now we need a DynamoDB API to insert. Let us go to the DynamoDB documentation. Here I have the DynamoDB document client HTML. This is a high level API looking for put item. So we have a sample here. Let us copy that and keep it ready here. And the table name what we have here is the table name what we got, and we need to insert the item. The item is a term used for Dynamo. A single record is called item in DynamoDB. And we have what we have here. So we have our item will have image. Item. So what did we copy here? So it's gonna have item name, item price, item image URL, right? So it's gonna have item name. Let us have a sample name, placeholder. Item price. And what is the other name? Item image URL. This is the name we decided. So this is what we have. So if you go back to my UI and if you inspect this, you'll get the image URL here. This is the image URL. So let us paste it here. You have the image URL. And now you're using a document client, AWS DynamoDB document client. But you need to import that, just like a Java, you need to import that when you want to use it. So we need the AWS SDK. So for this AWS to work, we need to include the AWS SDK. So now what we have here is the table name and the item getting inserted into DynamoDB, and what we're going to return here is item ID, that is our hash key when we decided, and the hash key is going to be the event request context request ID. Sorry, I'm going back and forth, but this is our event. This is our item. Let us go ahead and push this using our usual way of SAM build, and then go for SAM deploy the stack has been updated now. Let us go to Postman and call the same endpoint. So now we are still getting a response. Let us click it 3 times. And now let us go back to our DynamoDB table. If you go back to the DynamoDB table, the items table, now if you refresh that, we have 3 items that got created, all with 3 different item IDs, but the same item image URL, item name and item price. So now we have something which is raw and it is working. The next step we are going to do now is make all these things flow from the request itself. Let's go and modify the code to retrieve these values from our request. So now that we have seen that it is all working, the only task now left out is to make this dynamic in nature, so that we pick up the variables whatever we want from the event request. So I mean the API request. So I'm going to use json.parse, and whatever we need is going to be present in the event request body, and I'm going to be sending item name, and then the same thing can be copied and pasted, and say it's going to be item price, and then we can say this will be something called as item image URL. So the event what we're going to send will be having a body, and the body will be having all these 3 variables in it as a JSON message. Let us go ahead and do the usual SAM build and deploy. We now see that the changes have moved. So now let us go to our DynamoDB table and clear that first. Let me go ahead and delete it. And we don't have any new items here. Now let's go to the Postman. And now we need to give a raw event try body. Let us go to my sample message. What we have here, this one, and let us say in Postman, let us paste this, and we can say pancakes, and 85, and send it. And another item, bacon, 185. I'm just changing the image URL for no reason. And then let us create another item, scrambled eggs, 385, and send it. So now see, we have a very good response times here. Now let's go back to the DynamoDB and see what happened there. Go ahead and refresh it here. You can see that we created scrambled egg, pancakes and bacon, and the prices whatever we give. So now we are done with creating an item, which is post item endpoint is done. Now we need to implement the get items, which is basically going to be a cakewalk, and then the create order. So with that, we'll be done with the API gateway. Let's go ahead and do the get items. So now we are done with the create item lambda function, and we tested it. And let's go ahead and implement the get items. So what we're going to do here is we're going to write an endpoint that will display all the items from this table. It's going to be a scan query. We are not going to write any a query where you will need to pass the exact UUID to get the item, but we are going to just display the whole item. Scan query is a costly query, but for our scope, this is more than enough. Let us go ahead and do it. So just open the documentation and have it ready. So to perform a scan, we have a sample here, and okay, let us put it here, and let us copy certain things from the previous function. We are going to have the same SDK, and it's not going to be an async call, it's going to be a request response cycle. So just paste that. What else we need from here? So we need a same constant. So what we're going to need here is the table name, the scan query, and then finally the return the data. Okay, the table name can be still copied from here. So how this is available is, again, if you go back to the template YAML and go to the get items, we have a variable name available to us, which is basically the items table name. We're going to use that. That's the reason why we have that here. The scan query. So we don't have any filter expression. We just want all the items from the table. So we just remove those things. The table name will be replaced here. So this is the scan query, and we're going to call the document high level API to do that. And we created the client, and let us, okay, we have it already here. Okay, fine. Now I don't like this way of doing it in single line, and especially for our needs, we're going to do a bunch of stuff here, maybe a couple of lines. Okay, let us build our const response is going to be for API gateway. You definitely need to send two mandatory parameters. This status code 200, and then the next one will be the body, and the body will be of JSON.stringify version of the data, whatever you're getting here, whatever you're getting here is going to be there. And when you query, when you do a scan query, let us see if I'm able to show you what I mean here. Start search. So I went ahead and from the documentation I was able to grab output of a scan query. When passed neat, this is what the response looks like. So we have the count, we have the items, we have the last evaluator key that is used for pagination, I guess. And so out of all these responses, the JSON message, whatever we got back from scan, we are interested only in this item, which actually holds the result of the query, whatever we placed, the scan query, whatever we placed. And especially it is going to be an array of objects. So now let us go to the code base and see how we are going to parse it. So now, as I said before, data has everything, and all we need is just the items. So this return doesn't really make any sense here. And within the else, the last will be the callback function. There is no error, so null, and then we are going to pass the response back to it. So now we have everything ready, and yeah, checks out. We are getting the table, building the scan query, executing the scan query, sending back. We are just covering the happy path. It is going to be a happy path. Let us go ahead and do a SAM build and SAM deploy, and I'll get back to you. Now we see that we have moved our changes. Now let's go back to the API gateway console. Open the stages, get the prod link, especially the get link, whatever you're trying here. Copy that, put that in Postman, and verify the output, whatever we want. It's going to be a new get call. Okay, get call, send. This is the output we want. The 3 items, whatever we inserted, we are getting it now. So we are done with creating item and getting list of item. Next, we will be implementing creating the order endpoint, and that will be the end of it. And we can just go back to the UI and start wiring things up. Now let's go ahead and implement the last missing piece of the API, which is the create order method. So it is, we have the create item. I'm just going to copy that and paste it here. What will change here, because we have same handler name, this will be order ID, and then that is the name, that is the key for the DynamoDB table, whatever we have here. So we have the order ID, and now let's go ahead and define our sample message. So when someone places an order, say that it's going to be an iPad based order, touchscreen order, whatever it is. All I need is the item names, So say soda, and then we have this ice cream, and then let us say mac and cheese. And then we have another property, which is the order total, which is going to be, let us say, it's going to be a number 1699. This is our sample message what we will be sending from from the order screen. When someone clicks the place order button over here, we're going to execute this. We're going to capture those things in this line items in order total and send it over to the API. Now that we have this, let us go to the function. So we have only two properties. We don't need that, and this comes really handy, right? So line items, we're going to select the line items. We're going to name it as line items, and then we have the order total. The request body will be having order total, and this will be order total. Everything else, yeah, this will change. Your order number is okay. Still 201. It has been created. Nothing else changes. Let us go ahead and do the SAM build and deploy and call the API and see if it is going to be a good news. It has moved. So now let us go to the API gateway and open the stage, prod, post, copy the endpoint, promote to postman, create a new post endpoint, paste it, and the request body, the raw body will be, let us first post this, send it. Okay. If you notice, the first call will be around this almost a second. That is because there is a concept named cold starts. You can actually Google about it. Lambda cold starts. It means that when you first invoke Lambda function after it has been created, there is a minimal time that Lambda requires to put everything in place and start the function for you. So the subsequent calls will be really fast. So this is 131, so almost 90% down, fast. And then the third item, let us go to DynamoDB and refresh it. There we have it. Do not worry about this. This is how it will look like when you consume this message, because S means string. A line item is an array of objects of which we are mostly using. We are always using string as an object here. So I think there are only 3 to 4 different varieties what Dynamo supports: string, number, array, and something else. So now this is our order number. This is what has created. So we are now done with all the backend part of the application. So we can now display the items. In the backend, we can actually create new items, and then we can actually place the order. I didn't wire the place order button yet. I'm just planning to bring up a pop-up saying that this is the order number. That finishes the application. We don't do any kind of Stripe or a PayPal payment over here. That is not our scope. But I can strongly say that we are done with the backend part for this application. Let us look into the UI part next, how to build up the screen. What is the easiest way to build the screen, even if you don't know anything about Vue.js or JavaScript, CSS, HTML, doesn't matter. Let us do that.